and gals, and every here from Drake Queen Gaming and somebody on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at some Let's Play episode of Devil's Gambit. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm changing, we're up, and let's go. Before I realize it, I'm staring at his face, almost as though seeking guidance, but he seems so very distant. If Kadgan is a mountain, then Ranskai might as well be a shooting star, alone in this pit of a world, capable of only looking up at the past he should have belonged to, only to have arrived too late to experience it. But maybe, just maybe, it can still exist. As long as I can reach out and touch his hand, intertwine our fingers together, it can still exist. It's not glorious, nor is it worthy of legend. Ours is a small and fragile world, but it's ours. It is home. Ranskai blinks and turns to me with a smile. Why the long face? I can ask you the same thing. Oh, please, the last thing I need of you is you of all people give me pity. He rubs my shoulder and plants a kiss on my forehead. Then, with that devilish gleam back in his gaze, he contemplates our surroundings. No sign of Hazeleaf so far. Good. Incidentally, Hector, do you still want to be with Kadgan? I open my mouth and my mind is blank. I wasn't expecting that all of a sudden. It's so easy to forget he can read my thoughts. The devil notices my silence and grins. What? Did you think I wouldn't notice? Is that a problem? Is that a problem? A problem, please. It's just amusing. The more I give you, the more you want to take. So typical of a mortal. So, what are you planning? Planning? I don't know. He wants me to, but... But? He looks so scared. We kissed yesterday, and even then he seemed afraid. I know it's the weight of everything happening around him. I want to be there for him, but I don't know what to do. God, the worst thing that could happen would be me becoming another burden. Maybe all of this is a mistake. Ranskai remains silent, and soon I realize he's waiting for me to continue. And when I don't, he raises an eyebrow, looking somewhat disappointed. That's all? Oh, by the eye, you're so shameless around me. But then you let these little details stop you with Kadgan? No wonder you fell prey to me. Well, at first I wasn't even sure he liked me. The demon suddenly stands up, throwing his arms high up. Why not? Don't you know him like the palm of your hand, and the back also? Where's all this hesitation coming from? He holds his open hands up, turning them around and around. He clutches them into fists. Could it be guilt? Guilt. Yes, that might be it. I abandoned my best friend, the love of my life, for 9 years while thinking he had nobody else left. It doesn't matter why I did it, or that I thought it was for the best. It doesn't change the facts or how I feel about them now. What do you think I should do? The way this world works is simple, Hector. If you want something and you have the chance to seize it, then you take it, or else you'll regret that moment so deeply. If you let your regrets burden you until you can no longer step forward, you will always be miserable. But I must say, aren't things going rather well for you now? A few days ago you were heartbroken, but now you've made up and even shared a tender moment. Perhaps all that prude needs is a little time. Or if you're impatient, a little push. Just like you did. I blink and with a sigh look up at the stars. Maybe so. And on that note, we dress up and head back to Renai. I'm mostly silent as Rankai's words swirl around in my head. Once the town comes into view, the demon stops and crosses his arms. Hector, there's something you must know. What is it? The Duke will restart his profane expedition any time now. So for the foreseeable future, I'll focus on thwarting his efforts. That means we won't see each other for a few nights. Recently, it's been easy for me to forget, but the one sabotaging the expedition, the one hurting all those wolves, is Ranskai. Of course, if I accused him of that, he'd say it's Manol who's been hurting them, and he's not entirely wrong, but him bringing this up so casually, I don't know how it makes me feel. Oh, well, please don't be too rough on the townspeople. What an idiot. What am I even saying? I'm not killing them, am I? I'd say I've been plenty gentle. Don't look so gloomy now. I'm not so heartless as to leave you alone for long without a little consolation. Before I could ask what he's up to, he once again removes his loincloth and holds it in front of me. Here, something to remember me by. Without a single word, almost instinctively I reach out and grab it. Ranskai couldn't look more satisfied if he tried. I wonder why he and the valley smell so strongly of flowers. Act 2, Chapter 7. Demon's Roots. No one recalls seeing a carriage arriving in town, nor a stranger riding on the back of a beast. He simply showed up in Arwell's Nest a few days after the Hazeleaf was discovered. He introduced himself as Silvereth, paid a hefty sum in gold, and without a care for his fellow dragon's questions, asked to see everything on the menu. It's a wonder nobody saw him arriving in town. You really can't miss him. A dragon about as tall as Arwell, but with twice the presence. He has a hardened look and keeps his shoulders held high up. And then there's that ashy smell around him, only barely covered by incense, and that peculiar mane. That last feature spoke of a mixed heritage. Judging from his fangs and the shape of his molars, I figured he most likely carried lion blood. He hadn't said anything about himself, but the moment I saw him, I felt it in my nerves. He had been sent by the Inquisition. A glance at his clothes was all the confirmation I needed. A leaf-shaped pendant, sporting a dead tree over a rising sun, and the moon pendants hanging from both wrists, both symbols of nature. Even Kagan seemed apprehensive, looking at the dragon from the corner of his eye. He was still sampling Arwell's cooking by the time we left. I wouldn't see more of him until a few days later when rumors about the Duke authorizing the burning of the Hazeleaf began circulating. Water time. Alright, guys and gals, now let's jump back into it, shall we? Okay. A crowd gathered around the ritual site to bear witness, almost like a smaller leaf-burning festival. And instead of demons dancing around the bonfire, I arrived to find Silvereth standing in front of the ruins, head lifted and his hands joined in prayer. Wolves, lions, all of you that come from faraway lands, I ask you, what makes a demon? They run in opposition to nature, yes. They are soul-stealing fiends. But more crucially, a demon cannot lie. For instance, he points at a scrawny wolf in the crowd, a small grin forming in his mouth. The smaller man looks around, his ears lowered. You there! You'd beat me at an arm wrestling contest. Even a lie this obvious and petty a demon would be unable to tell. The Hazeleaf writhes with indifference as the dragon falls to his knees, raising his hands up to the skies. In his palms I see the glint of a gold coin. The heart is a most peculiar thing. So delicate, yet no matter how you lacerate it, it'll always bandage itself with some new hope or goal. From the coin emanates an unfamiliar fire. It doesn't disturb the dragon in the slightest, even as it grows and advances towards the ruins. It is not passionate nor just, but simply a purifying flame made to consume everything that is an affront to nature. Damn. As it envelops the ruins, Silvereth stands up and turns to face us. His body is mostly a silhouette in front of the inferno. Demons, however, use the truth as a weapon to strip our hearts and reopen old wounds. They worm their way inside in search of one thing, your true wish. They force you to look at something fundamental, yet unattainable, and rekindle the greed, the ambition, and the madness to pursue it at any cost. They promise that no matter how impossible, destructive, or selfish your wish may be, they can make it a reality, particularly if it means subverting nature. I've seen families undone by demons, fathers so consumed by their obsessions that they allow their children to spouses to starve. I've seen... He is calm and collected as the fire rages behind him, but he hesitates. His features are darkened, impossible to read, but the way his voice falters feels genuine. I've seen a mother who wished for her children to never grow, and when they protested and tried to escape, she turned them to the womb from whence they came. Not even the children are spared of a demon's temptations. Those are by far the most disturbing cases. A child's single truth can be naive and deranged, unassuming and yet terribly cruel all at once. Their wishes are the most fearsome of all. Demons strip away the innocent lies, the selfless kindness, the sense of right and wrong that upholds the community. Their so-called truth is a brutalizing force that destroys all else. That, my brothers and sisters, is why demons cannot lie, and why their promises of truth ought to be feared. He pauses and looks at each man, woman, and child in the crowd. Even with my attempt at remaining discreet, I feel his gaze boring at me. One day, this too will become a legend. Anywhere else, this tale would be buried and forgotten, but Brunei isn't quite like that, is it? This land is marked by stories of demons and their exploits, after all. For the time being, I ask this of all you present here. Beware the one that would peel away your layers and speak about your true wish, because that is, most certainly, a demon. And look after those of you who can't tear their eyes away from the truth, for they are the most vulnerable to the evil prowling your town. As the flame burns the Hazeleaf to ashes, I can't help but think of how gentle it looks, almost like a caress or a hug. The vines and purple leaves crumble under that love, and the scenes and writing engraved on the stone pillars fade as they do. As for the Inquisitor, all I can make out are the golden rings of his eyes moving as he observes his audience once more. And this time he lingers on me, making no attempt to hide it. I remain a prisoner to his oppressive gaze until the flame, having finished its job, extinguishes itself. So that's what happened. Kagan had missed the burning, with him being in the hospital to help care for Aaron that afternoon. In the end, I just couldn't send him home with the injuries he'd suffered from being thrown around by Mnoll's guards. Kagan had spent the last few days giving a hand at the hospital and keeping an eye on the forest shrine when time allowed it. The wolf takes a long sip from his mug, his eyes transfixed somewhere distant. Between the Inquisitor and the expedition, I have a busy week ahead of me. Do you think he'll seek you out? I imagine the first people he will want to consult will be the Duke and the priests. I was only an apprentice, but after he speaks with Ernan, I figure he'll want to work with me too. I wonder if that's why he was staring at me. We were eating together when he first came here, so maybe he recognized me. At least that's what I hope. Ranskai's smell isn't so thick on me that he immediately detected it, is it? I wonder what he's up to now. He'd probably scoff at the idea of that dragon trying to get in his way, but I'm still worried. Well, as long as what happened on the ritual site doesn't repeat, the Inquisitor should soon run out of leads. So I hope. I'm still wondering about how he introduced himself. Father Silvereth. Do Inquisitors usually live in monasteries? I don't think so, and I've never heard of him using a title like that. Perhaps it is a cover of sorts. You said he used a coin to conjure the fire? Yeah, it must have been some sort of artifact. I've never seen anything like it, though. By the way, how did it go with Ernan? He's acting tough, as usual. Did any of the other doctors give you any trouble? No. Why do you ask? He didn't want you to worry with this, but shortly after admitting him to the hospital, I was warned he couldn't stay there for long, and now that the expedition started again, they might want to send him back home. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon or YouTube memberships if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!